when we're working with players and we're changing out models, I don't want them to have to adjust to something visually different, right? They should be able to just adjust to what the sole's giving them. Yep.
This one feels good too.
Yep, it should be good. Keep making them. Nice. Get in.
That's more of that sound we want, isn't it? We're talking getting into it.
That's exactly it.
All right, guys, welcome back. So hopefully by the time you're watching this video, you've already seen our introduction to SM10, what we've got with SM10 and why it's different from a CG perspective. We're now going to move into, call it the more versatile clubs, or the clubs for a sort of higher utilization around the green.
Yeah, so we've got a large offering of sand wedges.
There's a lot.
Sometimes I get confused myself, but you know, the reality is conditions change all over the world. And it's important that we have tools that fit those different conditions, whether it's a soil thing or a grass thing. And so today I thought it might be fun to have you hit some shots for us using your gamer.
Love it.
But kind of blindly testing some of the other grinds to see if you really are in the right one. Because I think that's the thing that we want to talk about the most with consumers and with professionals is, are you in the right wedge? Why is it the right wedge? You know, those are the things we find so important.
And this is beyond a treat for us, because Aaron and I have our start of season sort of conversation around wedges. Okay, what are we doing this year? Well, we'll shape it this way and that way, but we've never done this.
No, we haven't.
Which is why this is super, super exciting, because obviously what we're going to get coming out of today is obviously for you guys a sort of, you know, a learning around the versatility and why you need to do this process for yourselves. But we're going to get out of it some wedge setup nuggets that are really going to be meaningful for me moving into sort of next year, which is awesome. I'm so adamant that I'm going to get my bag set early this year. Less tinker, I promise.
You better play more though.
I know. That's the thing. Problem. Okay.
So I'm going to have you eat some shots. And during this process, I'm just going to kind of talk you through how I would approach this with some of the best players in the world, all the way down to maybe a beginner. Or somebody who's just visiting us for the first time.
Got it.
There is a simplicity to fitting, in my opinion. I think we stick with what we know feels right, what flight's right, what spins right. Doesn't have to be too complicated, but the biggest thing is understanding why these different ones work for you. And you can only truly know that if we do it like this.
Right. Love it. Okay.
So I've got you at this white flag. We'll use this one just in front of you as our target.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have you just hit a few with your gamer so you get your feels.
And we've got 55. This was originally 54D.
Correct.
That we weakened one to give us one more degree of bounce, and sort of you done some lead edge work for me, and sort of we done some.
Yeah, you gave me some homework. So this is a 54D bent to 55, meaning we've increased bounce by 1 degree, right? So now we're really at 55-13. The unique thing about this sole is you get a handful of different things that I think are valuable to a lot of good players. You get 4 bounce, which is your square face bounce for fairway play, square face chipping and pitching. And it's actually on the higher side, similar to what your lob wedge is. So if you're a little steeper, you're a little over the top, this is actually a really beneficial thing because it keeps you out of the ground. You also added some pre-wear to yours, which is fun. That's just another added little element of getting me out of that turf a little faster. But when we go greenside, that's where the trailing edge relief is really, really important, right? So we have to find versatility somehow. If I gave you a bunch of bounce everywhere, you'd say, this isn't for me. I gotta have those shots around the greens too. And that's where the D is really cool, is you can polish off all the back and you can open up the face and you can do what you need to do around the green. So pretty balanced for you.
I mean, you nailed it in terms of the type of player that I am and the types of shots that I struggle with. And it is exactly that. I tend to get a little bit long at times in backswing, and the first move can go a little bit that way, so the leading edge tends to tilt down and maybe don't use the back as much as I would like to. So that is exactly why, like you said, that this design has worked so well for me. SM8 was just a straight up D grind, which I was absolutely in love with. And for SM9, the little addition was the pre-worn leading edge.
I think for you, being just that little bit this way, you're a good candidate for more forward bounce, because essentially you've got so much lean down the line that you're taking a lot of the bounce off. So having some forward bounce is a big thing for you.
Okay.
So that's to be expected, right? If you catch one a little heavy, you're gonna do the opposite.
We'll go a little thin.
Yep, we're gonna go a little thin. Okay, now we're gonna change it up.
Okay.
I don't want you to get too comfortable and make adjustments in your swing. You should just be able to hit the shots you want. No peeking.
Thank you.
Okay, a little crispy.
Yep.
We're gonna change it up.
On the edge. Worked out good, but it was close.
Now, if you can, I really want you to focus on thumping the turf.
Yeah.
And the reason why, right now we haven't really explored the soles because it feels like you're a little tentative.
Without a doubt, I don't have an awful lot of trust in my action to sort of get into the turf and, like you say, just have the back sort of going through with a bit of a clip.
Your technique is excellent. Let's find a sole that matches.
Okay.
Okay. Change you up again.
Thank you.
Now again, this is part of it, right? Is I don't want you to get too comfortable with one.
Yeah.
Because we see it all the time. We see players, they immediately adjust their technique to try and not do what they last did.
Totally. One of the things we kind of looked at or talked about in the presentation was the similarity of the profile as we look at it now. And we used to always have those little subtleties. You could kind of maybe pick out which one it was. Very, very difficult to do that now.
That's good. I don't want you to remember which one I last gave.
I'm having a hard time.
But I think from a fitting perspective and even from a tour perspective, when we're working with players and we're changing out models, I don't want them to have to adjust to something visually different, right? They should be able to just adjust to what the sole's giving them.
Right.
That's the change we're trying to make.
Totally.
Very good. What are you feeling so far?
I was very comfortable with, I think it was the first one you gave me. That one felt, very comfortable and sort of was sliding nicely. Kind of had a variety of sort of other good and bad in between.
All right, so right away, the one that's sounding and testing the best, if I'm allowed to tell you this early, is the M grind.
Interesting, okay. In my mind, I was guessing S.
So we tested that as well, but here's what I'm noticing is that while we were hitting irons over here, or hitting your pitching wedges over here, your path tended to be this way, just a little bit.
Yeah.
You're doing the opposite here.
Interesting.
And the cool thing about the fitting process is that as we look at path, we begin to understand what soles fit those paths, okay? Because your path is ever so slightly from the inside now, that's why we see those kind of higher right shots.
Yep.
We need to actually take parts of the sole away to clean up the contact.
Right.
The other thing we did was we actually took you from a little bit more loft to a little bit less. So now you're putting more face on the ball, so that connection's better.
Yeah.
But because of the changes in the sole, by taking some of it away, now you're getting to the ball cleaner.
Right. Love that. All makes perfect sense by taking a little bit of the, taking a little bit of the loft away, just tilting the loft up a little bit, just stabilizing the strike a little more. That was close. Interesting that the path has been a little bit too much from or a little bit more from the inside.
Are you feeling big differences as we move from grounds?
That actually felt really pretty good there.
Yeah.
And I've kind of freed myself up to not be as inside, so I'm kind of trying to
I could tell.
change the delivery a little bit.
I could tell. When you started to change delivery, I changed sole. Nice. Get in.
That's more of that sound we want, isn't it? We talk about getting into it.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
So again, for me as somebody who's working with you today and fitting you today, if you walk away from this experience, Ian, feeling like, I just feel like I can thump the ground, kind of just mindlessly, just kind of swing and hit the ground and know the ball's going to come out through this window that I want, that's a win.
We're winning.
Right? Regardless of what I give you, that's a win.
Right.
Any confidence we leave with today is the goal.
Agreed.
Boy, no issues with spin.
This one feels great.
And it should. You know why? Because it's like your gamer. You've well fit yourself. Come on, let him in. All right, we're going to hit two more, and then I want to go close to the green.
Okay.
And see if this other option is as good or better when we have to put it into some different scenarios.
There's a significant difference when I hit that shot with the D in this one versus some of the other ones. Like that one, I'm like, didn't get it, but like I've got 7
result.
feet and we've got a chance.
Yep.
This one feels good too. This
Yeah,
one
it should
feels-
be good. Keep making them. Good shot.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got 2 really good options
Yeah,
here.
2 really good
These both
ones.
need to go to the green.
Okay.
Let's hit a couple from here just to this first one, just to
Okay.
see if it clips the turf the same way. Ooh, that was nice. Okay, I want to end on that.
Cute.
Couple with this, please. Thoughts? Not sure.
Yeah, that had a little bit more time in the turf. Better. I like the feel of that a little bit more, closer to what mine felt like.
Perfect. So now we're going to take a few of these examples greenside
Okay.
and see if they outperform one another in a bunker or
Yeah.
in some grass
The other
that's a little
areas.
taller.
Yep.
I think that's a big part of it. The interesting thing about getting fit and trying all the different options is you immediately understand which ones do not work.
Yeah.
And that's a really important thing to
Absolutely.
to kind of figure out is not a low bounce guy or I'm not a high bounce guy. And I think we've identified that just based on your path,
Yeah.
what you do, where you play, you need to be in that mid to mid high range on your bounces.
It
And it's
feels
nothing
so
to,
different.
It's nothing to do with nothing to do with skill. It has to do with just how you use the tool.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say I've always felt much more comfortable with a little bit more.
So we'll start with the gamer, get ourselves a baseline here. And again, I think there are a few options that can work nicely over here.
Yeah.
Those tend to be one of the spots because you've got a little more speed associated where they tend to perform very similarly.
Right.
Once you start to slow down or you get into some sand or you get into some rough, that's where one will outperform another.
Totally.
And that's how you can sort of streamline what you think you'll come with
Okay.
when the process is complete. You comfortable in here?
Yeah, I would say
It shows.
I should be like.
It's a good start.
There's some days, Aaron, where it's like, it's easy and it feels, and then there's other days where I kind of a little bit like you can see from sometimes when I get in a little rut with the pitching, the little bit of the steepness and the strike moves too close to the ball, and
Yes.
that can bleed into the bunker as well. So as long as I'm sort of warmed up for the feel, I'm okay. But some days I have a bit of a struggle too. I would say one thing, AD, if I could get sort of something out the bunker, it would be a little bit more spin. Would be the opportunity at times to be a little bit more precise with my strike.
Okay.
I think, if I have a really tricky shot, I think I have quite a hard time spinning it in the bunker. And I've never really kind of had that little trick up the sleeve.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, different. This one's coming out definitely a little higher, it seems.
Sounds good. So again, that's kind of the cool trade-off with bunker play and wedges when you are in a bunker, is if I put you in a bounce that's a little bit lower,
Yeah.
you're typically going to have to produce more speed
Yeah.
to get it to your intended target,
Yeah.
which means you're going to actually produce more spin on top of that.
Right, makes all the sense. That was okay. Just there wasn't enough speed. It wasn't horrible.
Okay, I'm going to go back to this one.
Okay.
Tell you what, though, you've got a nice little pattern going. Probably make a few of those putts.
I was going to say the facilities help. the nice bunker, the nice green, the nice golf balls, the nice clubs. I think that formula normally leads to some pretty good bunker shots. And if it doesn't, I think you're struggling.
So that's the sound you want,
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
And I think one thing that we can sort of agree on right now is that width in a bunker is a good thing for you,
Yep.
right? Just how you throw it in,
Yeah,
knowing you have a little bit more width is going to help pop that ball out with some ease.
totally.
It'll allow you not only to pop it out with ease, but also if you need to add some spin to it, you
Yep.
can add some speed. And you should be able to get it to stop pretty close to the hole.
Definitely.
But I think if we go a little thinner, you're going to struggle to find the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever that felt like with, like you said, that sound, whatever that was with that strike, I'm not looking at what the sole is, but that felt really, really good and quick through the strike.
All right, just a little more speed this time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to give you the M grind,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
That's the one that's performed the best so far.
Right.
The one thing I think is just kind of a key little thought would be this location, you've got it pegged. So if you had to make one change, it'd be to add some speed to it, just
Yeah.
to the strike. That'll allow that ball to come out a little higher with more
higher.
spin, which is really what I think you wanted.
It definitely is. Yeah, that's the one shot I want to kind of unlock with the 60 and the bunker.
That's
That's it, isn't
exactly it.
Right there.
That was perfect.
That felt unreal.
I love that one. I think that's
Beautiful.
I think that's the one.
Okay.
Let's use this black flag here
Okay.
as kind of our spot. You clearly can't leave it short,
Yeah.
right?
So this is definitely a trouble shot, short-sighted.
So our goal would be to land it on the green. Let's say that this whole area here is, let's say it's water.
Yeah.
Okay? We got to get it on the green to start. Can you do it with height?
Okay.
Ooh. I like that one a lot.
Thank you. I would say, yeah, low point is a struggle for me when it comes to these types of shots around the green. I would say that's something I really kind of, again, practice is probably a big reason why I struggle with it, but there's no doubt about it, low point is predominantly behind. This one feels comfortable over here. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And we can really see what groove are we on there, probably up around 8 and 9. That felt really solid. It really did. Like that I struggle with that, and you can often my sort of strike ends up here, and you'll end up with that kind of short-sided one. That is what rode high in the head, and we've had no issues getting it to the target.
And that's again part of where the CG is placed and why.
Yeah.
Is you're going to get those shots that are above grooves 5.
Right.
Those happen, especially in lies like this where you're
Totally.
on an upslope, where your ball's resting a little higher than where the leading edge would be. And when that happens, you lose a tremendous amount of ball speed, right? So if you put more mass in that spot,
Yeah.
it helps a lot. Look at this. 4 golf balls, all in the same spot.
We're getting a feel for it.
Yeah, you got it.
Just a little bit in the delivery. Again, I think I keep going back to the M and really, really enjoying what this feels like through the turf. And kind of if I get it wrong, it's on me, which is totally fine. But when I get it right, the shot is different from what I have out my V grind. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And there are those moments where you're not going to get it right.
Yeah.
What does the result give you? You know, that sometimes is more important than a good result, is knowing that if I'm not playing my best or I'm in a scenario where I'm not comfortable, can I hit a shot that allows me to make a few more putts?
Yep.
Yeah, you can.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful. So we've ended up not too far away from, so we've done D grind in 54,
Correct.
M grind in 60. We're kind of in that wheelhouse of where we've sort of been, but I think with some of the modifications in tech and sort of what's new with SM10, there's definitely some different feels with this one that I think you can really see the progression in the look from the 46 to the 54 to the 60. There's definitely that change to leading edge profile as I'm playing these shots, opening the face. I can sort of see that little bit more curvature to the leading edge and things like that. So there's differences, but it feels very similar at the same time.
There's some positives associated with the new technology, especially going from what you currently use to this.
Yeah.
I think from a fitting perspective, we learned a lot about what your path looks like, how grinds or specific grinds and bounces affect that path.
Yep.
We know you're going to be a mid-width to slightly wider sole flange player.
Yep.
We know that you need a little more forward bounce just due to the way you deliver the wedge. Those are all reasons why you gravitated to the two you gravitated to. Now, the benefits of going to the M is going to really be in here, right? So you talking about, I want to create more height, I want more spin. You're going to be able to do that now just by adding a little bit more spin, right? So not only does your confidence improve because you can swing a little faster, but you can pull off those high spinning wedge shots that you want out of the bunker.
That was a new one for me. That kind of like high speed, short sided, bunker shot for me is something that I really don't have in the locker today. Nice to see that I'm going to have it moving forward. So that's a really, really nice change, AD. I love that.
Love it.
Brother,
nice work today.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Guys, we want you guys to understand the full value of coming out and doing this full experience, looking at your pitching wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge, however many wedges you carry. It really doesn't matter, but going through this process where you're sort of process of elimination, working with someone like Aaron, ourselves at Club Champion, whoever that may be, but working with someone that you can hand that trust over to, and you're not just sort of going through that process blind. I hate to say that, but it kind of is. If you're just trial and error without really knowing what's going on, it is still blind. So we obviously encourage you guys to do this. We'll take a deeper dive into the tech in other videos. We want to kind of make this more about the fitting process, what we believe you guys should be investing in, and we'll dive into the tech in some other videos. But AD, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. And guys, we'll be back soon.